Hi guys, and welcome back to Game 3, which is AndyDavo against Owen86. So it's Wales versus Malta again. So we've had two French guys on the stream and two Maltese guys on the stream. So I've just gone and grabbed the information. So let me just make those updates. And we have a classic Lizardmen versus Dark Elves. Now this is going to be a really high quality game as well. We've been lucky to have so many high quality games. Owen86 has a NAF ranking of 234 with Lizardmen, and AndyDavo's rating is over 250 with Dark Elves. So this is a top match again. So the players are just setting up. Meanwhile, I'm completely distracted from what they're actually doing by trying to make these changes. And so Andy's opening up with some blocks, trying to get those Saurus back away. It's going to be a bit tricky. He needs a knockdown here. He's going to leave an elf in contact. Oh, that camera is really not looking good. Let me see what I can do about that. There we go, see if that works. If it's still hard to see, guys, I'll try and make some more adjustments to it. Let's pop that up there.
You have 15 minutes remaining.
So I think Andy's got 11 players. Let me just have a quick count. So I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So Andy's managed to pick up the ball, and now he's just counting to make sure that he can't be reached. So this is a fairly standard play. Oh, thanks, Chris. It's really appreciated. So this is a pretty standard play. Andy doesn't want to bring that ball carrier up because he's gone for a straight line for his Dark Elves. He's trying to start occupying some territory and push the lizards back, and that means that he can't afford a cage. If he wanted to form a cage, that means his line isn't going to be as wide, and it's going to allow Owen to get around the sides and put a lot of pressure on, which is something he really doesn't want this early in the game. So he decides just to leave the ball back with the runner, and the runner's got enough speed to be able to join his friends in the next turn. So yeah, this turn for Owen is all about trying to do some damage, but it's a lot of blitzers with dodge that he has to hit. Now with him having 5 block and 1 tackle, I think what you're going to see, it's a little bit hard on the screen. It's gone a little bit dark. Let's see if I can do something about the main thing as well. See if I can maybe brighten that up a little bit. There we go. Let's get some colour into it. So Owen's gone for it's a very Italian build, which is 5 block 1 tackle. You see that a lot when you go to tournaments in Italy. And what you'll generally see is that these Blocksaurus, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this chappie here on the ground 5, they're just going to like try and do a lot of pressure and just push up against them. He's just used a blitz there. He was thinking about dodging, but then he thought I'll use the blitz just to push him away and get free, which is much more sensible. But in later turns, this darker one that's a bit harder to see is the tackle guy. He's got a bit of a green base to him, and so Owen really wants to start using him to start blitzing the blitzers and the witch elves and trying to do some damage. That turn he didn't do it because he decided it was more important to get this guy free and active and causing a little bit of ball pressure. This will force Andy to start to come up here next turn. You can't leave him back here because this Saurus is on a beeline, but even if he had the move, it's a mistake to put the Saurus here because the runner can just go past him. So he's back here, and that means if the runner does go forward, the Saurus is still in a good position to get involved in the game. So good play by both coaches so far. The problem is the aspect ratio makes it a bit hard to zoom in. What I might be able to do actually, I'll see if this is better. Maybe these don't need to be quite so big. Let's do a little adjustment. If this is bad, guys, tell me and I'll turn it back. And then if we bring these down here, no, this has gone wrong. Well, it's all gone wrong. There, how's that? Is that any better? It's a little bigger. Yeah, so the way that the draws worked out, we've actually, having seen France 2 games in a row, we missed them for the clash against England, which sadly could actually be the final between these two guys. So we've got, on France versus England, we've got Simon ACP against Lycos, Harty against Gegster, Carrick against Jim Jiminy, Justician Pipey, Zul Purple Goose, Lad Mortis Pete W, BB Nippy Longscar, and Clemento Joe Manji. So that is that's again some heavyweight matches, but I think we've seen France twice already today. We might see them again tomorrow because we'll concentrate on the top tables in games 5 and 6. But it's nice to give a little bit of a break, and so we have Malta against Wales. So a lot of the problem here, guys, is the aspect ratio. So let's see what I can do about that. Yes, this is the last game for the day. So we play 3 games each day. So this will be the third and final one for today, and then a lot of these guys will be going out tonight and getting drunk, and then we'll be back bright and early 10 o'clock tomorrow morning for game 4, which will be Gegster for England against whoever they are scheduled to play. So Andy's taken the ball wide here, in the hope to draw the Saurus over. Owen's not really biting too much. He's not going to get dragged into hugging the side of the pitch. He's going to still maintain a strong line there and try and hem them in. So the game is being played in Cardiff. So Wales are hosts for this year's Eurobowl. Because 2 years ago in Sweden they were the highest placed team that hadn't hosted yet, so they won hosting rights. And next year is a World Cup year, so there won't be a Eurobowl. And then the year after we know we're in Poland because they did well last year in Portugal. And Malta are one of the teams competing for hosting rights at the Eurobowl in 3 years' time, and they're in a competition with Scotland and Hungary, and Scotland and Hungary are not doing quite so well. So if you guys want to see the standings so far, I'm just going to post a link in the chat, and that will tell you how all of the teams are doing at the moment. So we've got France versus England at the top, having won 4 games each, and they're also alongside Spain and Poland that are playing on table 2, also having won 2 games each. They're on 4 points. So it's 2 points for a team win, 1 point for a team draw. Italy and Sweden drew their last round, so they're both on 3 points, alongside Finland, who's a bit of a surprise package on 3 points. And then Wales and Malta are both on 2 points. Hungary is on 1 point and Scotland is on 0. So at the moment, Malta are currently in the lead for hosting rights, ahead of Hungary on 1 point and Scotland on 0. But we're only halfway through the competition at the end of this game, So still plenty of time for the countries to turn that around. So yes, we see one of the Saurus has already been knocked out. So that can be really tough for lizards. I think they can be quite vulnerable to losing even a single Saurus in some matchups. You don't really want to rely on the skinks to have to get involved in the front line. Now at top level play, people aren't super protective of their skinks. They tend to play them a bit more aggressively, so definitely expect them to get involved from Owen at some point. Unless he goes down to like 2 skinks, then he'll be a lot more cautious with them. But you can't sort of play 7 versus 11 by leaving the skinks just at the back. So do expect the skinks to get involved, but you don't want them on the front line. You want them sort of second columns, the assist here and there for people you're going to push past. So Andy's played a nice sort of feint up the right, and now he's just re-centralised. Owen's central position obviously a bit weaker because he wanted to commit some guys over, and Andy's gambled a little bit early on with this blitz, so he's obviously hoping for a knockdown, obviously, but mainly to try and get this witch elf away and into safety rather than leaving her in contact. Oh, he's double skulled! He has double skulled so early with the witch elf. Oh, it's got to be worth a reroll, hasn't it? Yes, he's used the reroll. Oh my god, this is a disaster for him if this goes bad. It's just pushes. So the witch elf is safe for now, but it's got to be a straight push so that he can make the dodge away, surely. But it's a 3-up, 2-up dodge. Now he does have the dodge reroll, so he doesn't need the team reroll. But with that straight line, he hasn't left himself any gaps. Oh, he's left in contact. So rather than taking the dodge, I suppose that's fair. It is 5 versus 2 in the middle there, but it does leave Owen with a blitz on the witch elf to open up a chain push to free some of those Saurus up. So Andy needs a little bit careful here. The danger is if Owen's able to blitz here, this Saurus can be knocked free, and then potentially can come around and cause some problems by sitting here, whilst these guys come and defend there. So Andy's trying to do something about this. He's got the assists, so he's trying to free his witch elf, and it's just a push. It's just a push. So the witch elf, I think almost certainly now is going to be left in contact. I don't think there's anything Andy can do about that now. So this could go wrong. This could go wrong. But the dodge is nice. So it's 3s here because of the prehensile tail on the croc. The 4+ is good. It's possible with pushes, I think. With push. So Owen probably isn't interested in even attempting a ball sack at this point, because he's going to have to come in from this angle, if at all, and that just means even if he gets the POW, the guy's going there, the ball is scouring around here, and Andy's got a good defensive line here, so an elf is just going to pick up. So if he tries to pull all of his guys around here, he'll just overcommit, and then Andy will just pick the ball up and then just head down the flank, and that'll be a pretty poor score to leave open. So even though he's a little bit exposed here, a lot of the time it's not about preventing your ball carrier from being hit, it's about wondering where the ball will go, assuming the worst case scenario. So Owen's just going for the straight hit on the Witch Elf and just pushes. She survives. And yeah, it's really important here. Owen needs to really pressurise this line heavy. What he wants to do is to force linemen to have to make 2-up dodges. Andy's down to just the 1 reroll now. So all it takes is an early 1 dodge in the turn, and Andy could be under some pressure, could be asked some questions. Oh, the Croxagore is boneheaded. I'm not quite sure whether that was the blitz or not. I guess we'll see later in the turn. Yes, Darren, the fame does apply regardless of painted teams. There's not really any rules for that. And we're joined here by the MCats.
Cool.
Hello, Valerio. How are you?
I'm good.
So we have... Oh, you just headbutted the microphone if you guys heard a bit of a smack there. So we have Owen86's Lizardmen, good friend of ours, against AndyDavo's Dark Elves.
Oh, hello.
So this is a big match. Andy's taken one of the Saurus off, but Andy's last turn stalled a bit. He blitzed with the Witch Elf and double skulled into pushes. So the Witch Elf has survived the counter hit, but now he's under quite a bit of pressure. But just when Owen was looking to capitalise and send that Croxagore in to tie up some elves on 3+ dodges, the Crocs goes and boneheads. So, yeah, of course he did. Obviously, as soon as you need the Crocs, let him go.
I just played Lizards, got another 2-2 draw.
Draw. So VMCat is playing in the European competition, which is like the sister competition to the Eurobowl. So it's 3-man teams, or women teams. And he is representing the ECBBL Black Shirts, which is the London club that I also play for. It looks like a Skink has just won. Okay, so he's made the dodge on the dodge reroll attempt. And so you're in a team with Gritter and Will Frazee.
Yeah.
Oh, Wilsif. Is it Will Frazee or Wilsif?
Will
He
Frazee.
changes it all
He
the
changes
time,
it all the
doesn't he?
time,
Yeah. Yeah. So are we 2-2 draw? Is this another edition of the Tackle Zone Bleak Cam, or was it a fair game?
No, it was a fair game.
Yeah, fair game. Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
French players, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, France have an incredibly strong community for Blood Bowl. So what's Andy going to do here? I guess he's going to wrap around. His attempt is to sort of wrap around this side and try and force Owen to come back some squares, and then probably the next turn re-centralise. So that's probably his strategy here, but he's got to do something about all these Saurus in the middle. With only the 1 reroll left after the double skulls, he doesn't want to be dodging all of these guys out on 1s. So we shall see. It looks like they're having a bit of a think. Yeah, score's 0-0. As Dragon said, that's at the top between the 2 players. And there's absolutely no rules on third-party teams in Eurobowl, or in fact any NAF competition. It's only Games Workshop that don't like people using third-party models in their store. And I'd say probably 90% of players actually use a third-party team. Yeah, it's quite a lot. I'm not sure. I own a full Games Workshop team. I think I've got some of the Goblins. Valerio obviously have them all, but none of them are actually out of the shrink wrap. So,
No, the second edition ones are.
Oh, yeah.
Second and third edition.
I mean, you've had them 25 years.
Yeah.
You've had time.
I'm playing with third Undead today. So.
Okay, no, nice. Very nice. Undead, of course, being recently confirmed by Games Workshop as the next team out.
Yeah, but the sprinting mummy looks a bit weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback about the sprinting mummy, the least dynamic player in the game having the most dynamic pose. Yeah, sorry, we just muted. Just a guy came over just to have a quick chat, so we just popped it on mute, not to annoy anyone. So we're still here. We're still here, still kicking. And so Andy hasn't gone for maybe quite the push he could have. He's still being quite cautious. It's still very early in the game. What he doesn't want to do is head down. What he doesn't want to do is head down too far, because then the Saurus will just pin him against the sideline and he won't really have anywhere to go. But it does mean that Owen needs to do something about this. He needs to get some players across, but he can't overcommit. Andy very cleverly has left a blitzer near the top of the field on the line of scrimmage, and that means that he's able to switch back at any point. So Owen's got to play this turn very carefully. So it looks like he's chained a Saurus against the ball carrier, so maybe he's going to go for a hit here. See you tomorrow, Dragons. Really great to have you here all day. So that was just the armor roll. So he took the block. I was just thinking about what to do next. So quite often players do that. They have a bit of a think and then they do the armor roll. Of course, if they break armor, then it changes everything. So I'm not quite sure why they do it. It's sort of a bit of habit. So he just stood the guy up, and then he's boneheaded with the Crocs once again. He's got his head in his hands. He did not need that. Yeah, that's right, he used the blitz to chain him. Serves me right for not paying attention for those moments. But he does have a tackle zone on the ball carrier, so that is something. So what's he doing now? This is he's having a bit of a think about this. This has changed his plans. That Croxagore boning twice in a row has really hurt his ability to put pressure on the Dark Elves. Very much like the last game of Chaos Dwarves against Pro Elves. Often your strategy against Elves is not to stop them scoring, it's to force them to score quickly to give you enough time to reply. And certainly with Lizards, 2 turns is all they need to get a quick reply, because although the Skinks are Ag 3 and therefore suffer a little bit from the ball handling, all you need is a little handoff, and it's really hard to stop them because they're stunty players, so they're always dodging on a 3+. If you've got a team reroll as well as the inbuilt dodge reroll, that's a great chance of being able to dodge through the lines. So yeah, Owen is trying to put the pressure on, but that Croxagore is not helping. So Owen thinks, okay, he's in the best position he can, leave it there. He's got the 2 Skinks. Off to the side. And so Andy's like, oh, how do I get through here? He can't really block all those Saurus because there are a lot of half-dice blocks in there. So he needs to be careful about this. He doesn't really want to open with the 1-dice block, especially with a lineman that doesn't have block himself. So yeah, it looks like he's committing a lineman in order to cut some assists. And looks like we're going to get a blitz here for a chain push. No, it's just the move in. And up they stand. And now we see the 2-dice block. That blitzer that moved in now provides the second assist that's needed. He gets 2 dice and it's double push. And another double push. So the Witch Elf with Frenzy has at least double pushed the Saurus away, and so that means that the ball carrier is going to be clear to run up. He just needs to make this 2-up dodge with the Witch Elf. Oh, he's got one. Oh, he's using the dodge reroll. Oh, is this going to end? Is this going to end his drive? Oh, he's got a 4. Whew, and relax. Everyone relax. Everyone unclench. And yeah, so the Witch Elf manages to get round. And I think Andy's going to use this opportunity to make some space. Yeah, unfortunately, this camera is not picking up the white very well. I've tried to change it. Weirdly, it's exactly the same light for both dice mats. The dice mats are the same distance away. The cameras are the same distance away. But one of them seems to be blurring up. So I'm not quite sure exactly why they're doing that. So we will see. We'll try and make some adjustments. I'll keep adjusting it as the game goes on, guys, until we see, until we get something better. But I'll call them out this side as well, as best I can for you too. Sorry about that hiccup. It was all working fine yesterday, and then over the course of today, I did try turning it off and on again, but that has not helped. So we see the ball carrier has moved forward, and Andy's taking the opportunity to start to form a bit of security. So 2 dice block here. I might be able to clear another guy away. Double push from this result. He just lets that go. That's just about getting the Saurus out of contact. And now we're going to see a dodge from the Witch Elves. This is where the Croxagore not being there is really hurting, because that 2+ would have failed, and Andy's now able to reform the cage, and I doubt we're going to see a Saurus try to break through. And yeah, Owen's got some work to do now. He's got to try and get across and stop Andy running into the corner. And yeah, that blitz has dodged out, and he's just based up the Croxagore. Basically he's saying, I'm happy for you to give away a hit. You need pals to take me down. So I'm okay to risk that. But what it will do is mean that the Croxagore is not able to get across field. Because if Owen is able to blitz the forward screening lineman here, then if this Crocs was free, he just needs one go for it to base up the ball carrier. So he obviously didn't want to risk that, so it's good play, just taking a little bit of risk there just to pin the Croxagore in for a turn. And it shouldn't really matter next turn because Andy should be heading off this way, and then he just needs to form a screen to stall for a couple of turns. It looks like Owen's best bet is to try and kill this guy. So he's coming at this angle to make sure that even if it was a push, he would have a way through, but he gets the POW. A double 6, is he gonna cause an injury? KO, that's still good for him. Player off the pitch. And now it's very much a case of scrambling across. The Skinks are in quite a good position. He'd probably want one of them one more square over to fully form it off, but no, he's happy to go to the central. He's kind of showing Andy the side, but I guess Owen's plan here is saying, well, yeah, if you want to go to the side, that's fine, mate, but only a couple of your friends are going with you, and that's not really enough to cause me too much problem. If you want to take the ball carrier and 2 friends with you, well, I'm just gonna absolutely swamp you on the following turn. So he's just readjusting that position now. Actually, he's just going to bring those Skinks actually across a bit further. Still got options for Andy to go around the side, but I guess Owen wanted a little bit more security, and now it's the other wider Skinks going to the side. as we see Andy and Owen showing us their Mars bar celebrations. As the Croxigal boneheaded a third time in a row. Oh Lord, this Croxigal hasn't shown up at all this game. He's on turn 5 and the Croxigal has boned 3 times. The theme for today has very much been bashy elves. In game 1, K-Food's Wood Elves really took BB's Undead to pieces. And a very similar thing happened with Simon ACP's Pro Elves against Metal Malta's Chaos Dwarves. So we've seen 2 bashy elf games so far today, and with one Saurus off already, maybe we're going to see a third. But it's tight here. It's tight. Andy's got options, but a single double one almost completely ruins his drive, and he's going to have to be a bit clever about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He can just about get around the skink screen. Owen might have been better off leaving his both of his skinks sort of 1 square further back, just to prevent people going around.
This side.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh my god. Hi again, Ali. Welcome back. Scumbag Street. Eurobowl this year has been hosted by Wales. We are in Cardiff today, and so the highest placed team that hasn't yet, as Andy rolls a skull push, the highest placed team that has yet to host the Eurobowl gets to host it for the next time. He gets a power on the second hit. So the Witch Elf doing her job there. And it looks like Andy might be re-centralising, or possibly even trying to swing back. Maybe using the boneheading Crocs to his advantage. Could we see a sneaky handoff here maybe? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so there's no go for it. And he could hand off to the Blitzer, who might just make a bit of a run for it. Seems a little bit soon to be trying that sort of thing, but yeah. So down goes the Saurus. So if Andy can get some elves in a screen, maybe tie up the Croxigal. There's some good options here. So if he can form a screen here or a screen there, and then hide some players sort of behind here, potentially we could see this guy going up here. So let's see. Here's the dodge from the runner. Let's see if there's going to be a handoff. Just moving the dice away for the critical roll. Needs a 2. Here's a 1. Oh, he's got a dodge reroll. He's got a dodge reroll. Will it work? Oh, that's what he needed. So this is very clever play by Andy. The Croxigal is bonehead, so he's not exerting a tackle zone. And in moving the runner adjacent to him, it means that the Croxigal is tied up by that player. So he's using the player 2 times to get the ball away from trouble and do the handoff, and also to tie up. So very efficient use of that runner. Now he might get smacked next turn, but you know, that's some of the risks you have to take sometime in order to break through. So now it's a case of how is Andy gonna make this screen? So yeah, we're in Cardiff today. We're at the cricket ground in the conference centre. So it's a very nice venue. We're in actually the practice cricket net area they've put us in, and it was nice and warm earlier, but it's getting really cold again now. So Owen there trying to do some damage. That was on the wrestle witch, so always worth a hit on that. What was that, failed dodge? I just stopped watching the screen for a second. Yeah, that was a failed dodge.
And the ball carrier is still next to the Croxigal.
And the ball carrier is next to the Croxigal. I mean, the Croxigal is going to bonehead for a fourth time. That is 100% guaranteed. But yeah, Owen's on to turn 6. Andy clearly decided that he wanted to make the screen a little stronger before exposing the ball carrier. And that's perfectly sensible, because if he'd moved the ball carrier here first and then failed that dodge, well, that is om nom nom time. Scotland drew Austria and lost 4.5 to 3.5. So I'm doing, guys, for the first half, I'm just showing up the scores from the last round. So this is round 2, you see on the screen between the dice mats. And then at half time, I'll flip that over to the draws for this round, round 3, as we come into the point where we're starting to be interested in how is it going to go. So England and France with healthy wins in the last round, alongside Switzerland. Denmark are bouncing back from their first round loss to France to beat the Netherlands 7-1. Meanwhile, Poland continued their good form by getting past Ireland, while Spain also recorded their second victory by defeating Wales. Italy and Sweden, though, 4-4 draw. Great results for the Swedes. So the ball is here. So this is the ball token, and it's next to the Croxigal. Next to the Croxigal. Oh, he's going for it. He's activated the Crocs. Finally the Crocs takes an action. It's 2 dice.
Dodge.
But it's a blitzer. So what you can't see now that player is actually on the ball, his skill ring has disappeared. So that's a blitzer with dodge. So that wasn't good enough. He was looking for the POW. And yeah, I'm surprised he took it that early, because a fair amount could have gone wrong. But I guess his thinking is, if that had worked, then all of his skinks have yet to move.
Still got a blitz.
He's still got the blitz, that's right. It's not too easy to engineer anything with the blitz.
If this hadn't worked, you could have still tried to get a blitz on it.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
The other good thing about having a Croxigal next to him is that the Croxigal gives him -1 on the dodge.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So yeah. And he needed to activate the Crocs in order to get that, because the Croxigal was boneheaded previously, so wasn't exerting a tackle zone. This is very tense times in this match. You can see Owen's adjusted where he's going to push Andy's blitzer to a couple of times now. So sort of players, these pressure these players are under, sort of representing their country in these games. So what's Owen's plan here? He's having a good think. It's another push, and he's got a second tackle zone on the ball carrier. So are we going to see some skinky sneakiness here? Is he going to run through and try and cut some dodges? And he's only got 2 turns left, and the ball's still in his half. So it's tricky for him in this situation. So if Owen might be tempted to get one of these skinks and then try some dodges through here, and if he can end up with a skink in this location, that means that this is now a 4+ dodge, which pretty much obliges Andy to come and kill this skink. But if the blitz is happening back here, it's not happening up here where he needs it to make some room. So it could be a good decoy from Owen if he decides to take that, but he needs to make 3+ dodges, so it's not easy. And yeah, he's decided not to. He's happy with it. He's just used 1 skink to base up a witch elf on the ground, and now it's Andy's turn 7. So I think Andy's going to have to take a little bit of a risk with this one. This could be the turn where he uses his final reroll. It's going to be close. It's going to be tough to see if he gets through. So what's Andy's plan here? He's having a good old think. The old fingers are coming out on the Blood Bowl pitch, marking positions that he's going to be dodging to. This is a big turn for him. He needs to get this right. Or is he going to dodge through again? Ooh, that would be something. Yeah, it could well be. It could well be. I think he's only had 2 dinners so far, so 3rd dinner is definitely on the cards for him. And now he's going for a block. So that was to knock down the Tacklesaurus, which will allow Andy the reroll on the 3-up dodge because of the prehensile tail. And he's not broken armor as expected, but the tackle guy is on the ground now, which does give Andy some options. Actually, he's going for the blitz. Yeah, he's got 2 dice, hasn't he? 3, 4, 5, 6. He's just going to blitz his way through. And that's double push. Double push on the Crocs. He's thinking about the reroll. He's thinking about the reroll. This is a tough position because he could leave himself needing a 4-up to get through. So he's just having a bit of a think. If I push the Crocs to there, can I get around and make enough distance downfield. Or maybe he's going to push him the next one over, push him sort of back towards Owen, and then take the 3-up dodge through 1 tackle zone. He's still got players further forward, so there's handoff and passing options should he need it. Lots of options here, lots of options. So it's looking at the moment like he might actually drop the ball carrier back to a safe square where he can't be blitzed, and then push other players forward.
Let's go for the pass. In
order to go for the short pass. Yeah, I mean, a 2-2 with the reroll to cover is a great option, and it's better than exposing the ball.
Changed his mind.
So he's decided maybe he's better off just in a little bit of cover as opposed to dropping back. So yeah, here we go. Here's player number 1 going forwards. And if he's going to get 2 players forward, he wants to spread them out so that they can't be tagged or pushed into a tag where multiple of his guys are going to be mobbed by the others. He can't leave just 1 forwards. He's decided to do the witch elf first. It's another 1 on the dodge. This is tense times. This is going to be bad if it's a 1. It's a double 1! The witch elf is snaked. The witch elf is snaked. Oh, and he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 1 player in range and 3. He's got 1 player in range, but next to a Saurus. Oh, that's a disaster. Disaster. He is absolutely. Oh.
And he's got.
So now Owen's trying to do the same. Owen's putting a guy into scoring range as well. He thinks he's on for this. He thinks he can not only keep Andy out, he thinks he can turn him as well. So safe moves first. Stand up the tackle Saurus. Get some pressure on. So Owen has a choice here. Does he try to blitz the Dark Elf that is exposed furthest forward, which would almost certainly stop Andy from scoring, but means he won't be able to get a blitz on the ball carrier. Owen does have a Saurus free who would need to go for it in order to hit the ball carrier. But given that he needs pals against the ball carrier, if he goes for that, he would just have to basically swamp the elf that's in scoring range. So it's a tricky decision for him here. Is he brave and goes for the knockdown and the recovery, or is he a chicken like me and will just knock down the guy himself for a 0-0 at half time? So one of the big problems here with lizards is you can't really use skinks to tie people up, because all you need to do is cut a few assists and then the guy who's furthest forward just blitzes his way out. So Owen's going to have to be careful with his positioning. He can't leave too many skinks to do the job. He has surrounded him with skinks. I think he is going for it. No, he's just gone for the 3 dice. Oh, he's used the reroll. He's got the knockdown is so important here. The knockdown is super important, and he gets it. Double power and a push. He's on the floor. Armor break. Armor break. Does he get the armor break? This is huge. He does not. The elves are alive. The elves are alive. So the block here to push the elf out of range, he gets the push but nothing more. Looks like there might be some chain options on as well. He could get some chain options on. So at the moment that elf in the middle is not in scoring range. So this elf here is not in scoring range. Owen's wondering whether he should follow up. The danger is if Andy can get someone here and someone here, there's the potential for the block to push the Saurus here. Sorry, not someone there, someone here and someone here. And then the second block can push him back into range. And then he's just got to run up here and then pass the ball to him.
Up, yeah.
So he has followed it up in order to create some extra problems. But this elf here was knocked down, but is still in scoring range. So Andy would need a 3+2+ dodge. 4, 5, 6, 7, followed by 1 go for it. And then this guy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to somewhere like here. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1 go for it, and it's a 3-up pass, and then a 3-up catch because it's raining. So, shock horror of the first half, the Croxagore has done something. The Croxagore has finally done something. It doesn't count for anything. It literally changes the game 0%. But the Crox has finally done something. So we've just been joined by one of the excellent referees who's just missed AndyDavo snaking a witch elf. He only had one guy further forward who has now been knocked down, and now he is trying to engineer what looks like a chain push. So it looks like the blitz is going to come into the skink from here. That will push the blitzer out to here, which gives him a 2+ dodge. 4, 5, 6, 7, and no go for it to get into range. He's now counting squares for the ball carrier, but this Saurus here needs to go away. It's going to be a 2 dice onto him. If he can just get a push, then the ball carrier can run through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I think it's 1 go for it for a 3-up pass. So here comes the 2 dice block. He's got the reroll. Will he need it? Oh, he gets the knockdown. That's all he needed. Skull zing, takes the zing. Down goes the Saurus. Armor break for posterity and for the second half. As expected, no armor break. He's basing the skink up just in case this all goes wrong. Wants to make sure he's not in range. 6. I think it's going to be a go. Oh, was he where? That's fair last round. Yeah. At half time, I flip it over to the next one. Yeah, but thanks for that. Yeah, because lots of people have noticed mistakes and told me, so it's really good that we've got people watching. Yeah, thanks.
How many you got watching though?
118.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's very good.
Nice.
Here we go. Here comes the blitz. So he's used it with the blitzer on the skink. Here we go. 2 dice. Just needs the push, really. Just needs the push. He gets it. He gets it. The blitzer is freed up.
Does he just put his player prone? His own player
No,
prone?
it's-
No, his own player was already prone.
Oh,
He was.
yeah.
His own player was already knocked down.
Pushing him out.
So he's chain pushing him out. So
So
it's a 2+ instead of a 3+2+, and it also avoids the go for it.
AndyDavo did say the only reason that he won his last game was because of a 6-up dodge.
Oh wow! wow! Don't snake. Oh, he gets a 3, and he just runs it straight forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a 7 and a 1. So I think he would need 1 go for it to make it a 3, rather than a 4. There's a passing chart. Yeah, there he is. Here's to go for it. So 2 up, 3 up, 3 up with reroll to cover. Gets the first one. Into the pass. The pass is accurate. 3 up to score. Touchdown! 1-0 to Andy. Wow, that was a monster drive. He looked in huge trouble when the witch elf snaked. But a very clever chain push has managed to get him ahead for the first half. So yeah, I think Owen didn't blitz the ball carrier there. I think he blitzed the guy in scoring range rather than the ball because he needed a pow on the ball carrier, whereas the other guy, even a push would have sort of left him tied up. So yeah, that's the decision he made. Whether it was right or wrong, I guess given the result, maybe hindsight is a cruel predictor of fortune. Yeah, that is a smug Andy. I bet he's feeling a lot better about that. Owen put him under huge amounts of pressure. Really forced Andy to make a lot more dice rolls than he would normally want to make. And yeah, nearly worked. So now Owen is looking at the ones. That's a bunch of ones that Andy's rolled with those tackle zone dice. I think he's going to grab some more. And yeah, so Andy's set up for the one-turn defense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 10 players. So he hasn't got enough player for the traditional double bank defense. So what he's doing is just trying to make it awkward for Owen to get pushes on the elves on the side. Lizards are pretty good at one-turning. Well, I mean, all one-turns are hard, but lizards are pretty good at it. You really don't want to be relying on that Crocs to have to do anything, though, because that's just bonehead central, isn't it? He's already been super unreliable. The problem, of course, you have with one-turning with lizards is that the skinks are only Ag 3, and typically you're going to have to catch the ball with a skink in a tackle zone. So that's pretty horrible to look at that 4-up. But the good news is they are movement 8, and because the skinks have stunty, it's 3-up dodges all the way. So that counterbalances the problem a bit. This is probably the hardest thing to do in Blood Bowl. Even if you've practiced one-turns quite a lot, you never quite know what the opponent is going to do in defence. You never know how many players you're going to have. Andy puts in the safe spot. He doesn't want to give away any free touchbacks. And Andy really wants a deep kick now because that would force a handoff and a pass. So the reason why Owen's got 2 skinks back there is to make sure that if it is deep, he can hand off one to the other. It's not too deep. And it's an 8, so potential re-roll for both coaches. It could be good for Owen. Doesn't really make any difference for Andy. So he starts off with a POW to get a player away, and does not break armor. So here's the blitz to push the guy, and that's the one turnover. Didn't get the push. The player gets knocked down. No armor break. So now we're just going to see an attempt at some attrition. Block from the skink, knocks the guy down. Doesn't really matter where, and no armor break again. That is the end of the first half. So the guys are now rolling for their KOs, big rolls. Andy gets his guy back. Looks like Owen does as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Owen is back up to full strength. And so is Andy. Yeah, so it's really interesting. We're looking at doing a series of articles on tournament selection picks. And one of the interesting things, probably the only interesting thing about Lizards, because the team pretty much picks itself. You're going to take 6 Saurus, you're going to take at least 4 Skinks, because you have to, and you're going to take the Crocs. And that basically means you're going to take 2 rerolls minimum as well. And so that leaves you with 2 choices from a 12th Skink, well, a 5th Skink for a 12th player, a 3rd reroll, or an Apo. And Owen's gone with 2 rerolls and the Apo and Skink. So he's gone for the 12th player and the Apo. Clearly worried about attrition in his game, but dropped him down to 2 rerolls. Personally, I think I'm a fan more of having 3 rerolls. I think Lizards are one of those teams where either you don't use any rerolls at half because everything's nice and calm and controlled, or you use all 3 of them really quickly because things have gone wrong. So it's 6 squares in direction 1. That's a deep kick. This gives Andy some good counterplay options here. It's a high kick, so he's put a Skink under the ball. Needs a 4. Only gets a 3, unless it's pouring rain, in which case he needed a 5. And so the ball scatters. Does it go off? It does not. It's just in front of the Skink. A tricky deep kick. So Owen's really looked to at least take out one of these guys off the pitch. If he can take a removal, a stun, and a nothing, he'll probably settle for that. But no armor break on the first one, just pushes on the second. He's got 3 dice on the Crocs, but he probably doesn't want to take it so soon. He's blitzing now and gets the knockdown. Yeah, it looks like he just wants to leave them based, try and force Andy into using up his rerolls. Well, he breaks armor. Will this see a removal? Will this see a removal? He could really do with going some players up. No, it's just a stun.
Open players, there's a spot prize available for White Fever.
So Owen's having a bit of a think here. He's got to be careful. He can't really do too much with the players at the top of the pitch. If they move back too far, he's just going to leave himself exposed. Oh, they did?
Yeah.
And they're back to pouring rain now?
They said it's pouring rain and they completely forgotten about the weather, so I don't know if they're going to pick it up or not again. But
okay.
I have no idea about that, but just to let you know that so far they've forgotten it.
No, thank you. The guys in chat have been the ones that have remembered it even more than me. So, yeah, so guys, if you didn't hear that, Meta Malta's just popped over and Andy's told him that they completely forgot about the weather in the drive.
So,
so
can you confirm what they're going to do, if they're going to keep on?
Yeah, if you could, that'd be great. Yeah, so he's just going to pop over and confirm what they're going to do. It looks like Andy's left the table, probably for a lunch break. And yeah, we're in the second half. Okay, yeah, they're just having a quick chat with the ref to find out what they should do. It certainly didn't make a difference on the scoring play, but I'm not sure whether it made a difference before. I mean, certainly if Andy benefited from not having pouring rain, I guess it's only fair that Owen doesn't have to suffer from it anyway, but there's a good argument to say Owen should also be remembering the weather. It's not all down to Andy. So, to help the guys distinguish some of the players, I'll just point them out for you. So the Saurus are the guys with the white skull hats. So you see them there. And this guy here, which has got a slightly different colour base, has tackle. All the rest have block. This big chap here is the Croxagore, and then the darker guys you can't really see are the Skinks. And then on Andy's side, the two Witch Elves are the ones with like the white hair. So you've got a block Witch Elf here and a wrestle Witch Elf with the whiter base up here.
So, ref declared that they continue as though it's raining.
Okay.
They continue with the rain.
So the ref has declared that they continue with the rain. And then this guy with the ball is the runner. And he's got a green base for dodge, and then the other guys with the green bases are all blitzers, and everything else is a lineman. So it should be easy to see who they are from the skill rings that are around the players' bases. This guy with the ball here is the runner, and the others are blitzers. Oh, so the skills that they've got, if you just look at the writing just below the board. So you've got blue and white for the block and wrestle Witch Elf, and then green for the dodge on the elf side, and then red for the block and green for the tackle for the Saurus on the other side. This being a tournament, both teams are classified as tier 1 teams. Dark Elves and Lizards are very, very good in tournaments. And so both players get 6 skills, 6 normal skills. They can't have any doubles. They're not allowed to stack skills onto the same player either. No more than 1 skill per player. And so the skill rings just denote who has received the 6 skills. And both players are going for pretty standard builds. It's typical to see at least 4 block on the Saurus. And then the other 2, you typically see 1 or 2 more block, maybe a tackle, sometimes break tackle. Typically nothing on the Croxagore or the Skinks. That's a very standard build. And then the Dark Elves as well. Andy's gone for the 3 Blitzer 2 Witch Elf build, which is the most common one for tournament play. And you typically put 1 block on a Witch Elf to give her a little bit more punch, and then wrestle on the other Witch Elf in case you need to take down a blodger. Especially one that's a ball carrier, and then basically everyone else gets dodge. So that's really good for the Dark Elves, because you've got 1 Roger with the Wrestle Witch Elf, and then 4 blodgers, and then another runner on the runner. So yeah, there are other colours available. What I want to do though, I know it's not quite as easy for the stream, but I want to make sure that I'm not interrupting these players. They're very kind to let us watch the game. They don't have to, they could say no. And so I kind of want the game to be as familiar as possible. I want them to be allowed to use their own skill rings, try to use their own dice where they're able to be seen on camera. So I'm trying to make the game as familiar as possible, because the last thing you want is people to come, all this way. They've spent all this money to get here, and then they've not had the best game because everything's just been a bit unfamiliar, and maybe if they make a mistake and lose the game, that would be really frustrating for everyone involved. So we're trying to sort of give them as much option as possible to use their own stuff. So Andy gets the 1 die push, so he's trying to engineer this dodge through. So he's got dodge on this guy, but it's a 3+ because of the prehensile tail on the Croxagore. He rolls a 5, he's fine, he's through. So what he's trying to do now is set up a bit of a screen just to stop Owen from sort of centralizing, and bringing all of his players back together. He's trying to isolate the team into 2 halves. Dodge not used, so he's happy to go for the second dodge, which he makes as well. And so he's pushing another player through. And he's actually, he's just decided to base the Croxagore. Again, it's a little bit of a risk because he could lose a player, but the Croxagore does need to find the power in order to knock him down. But it does mean the Croxy is tied up for that turn. Again, Andy makes the dodge he needs to. So yeah, it's going to be a good tactic. Even if Andy's not trying to win the ball, what he's trying to do is he's trying to turn the Lizard Men players so that they end up going back towards their own half, towards their own touchdown line, in order to basically just waste time, especially with the Skinks and their ability to break through column defenses. You want to kind of put some pressure on the other side. So there's a bit of a tactic, a bit of a strategy. It's like a 4-and-4, so you go aggressive for 4 turns, put the pressure on, and then use that to sort of waste time. And ideally, if Owen he felt like he's weathered the storm, but he's halfway into his own half, and then Andy will back off, preserve the guys, and try to then stall him out for the 1-0 win. But on the other hand, Owen does need a 4+ to pick up the ball, because it's raining, and if he fails to pick up, it's against the sideline, so it could go into some pretty nasty positions. So Owen needs to be careful here. So he's blitzing that guy away. He's closest to the ball. Gets the power he needs against the blodger. That's a very good result. Not only takes him out of ball range, but also allows some freedom for his guys to move. And he's broken armor as well. Are we going to see a removal? Just a stun. Just a stun, living on the edge. So yeah, good point. It is the second half. So let me update this page. We'll just pop that there, and then we will clear that out and then write down the matches that are going on at the moment. So we have France against England on table 1, Spain against Poland on table 2, Italy versus Finland on table 3. Italy have dropped a little bit behind the pecking order. France, England, Spain and Poland are all on 4 points. Italy and Sweden drew their last round, and so are on 3 points, and so that means that Sweden are facing Switzerland in this round. And then we've got Denmark, who are bouncing back from their round 1 defeat to France, are playing Germany, who won their first round against Belgium but lost in the second round to England. And then we have Ireland against Austria. And then this match, Malta against Wales. Greece and Norway are fighting it out in the just below midfield. And then we have Dragons against Belgium. Hungary against Scotland. Scotland are having a bad tournament so far. Not like them, they're usually a much better place than this. And then on the bottom table is Portugal. I thought it was quite a strong Portuguese team, but it's not gone well for them against the Netherlands. So Owen has managed to pick up the ball and has got back into a central position. It's not as far up as he'd like it to be, but it didn't really give much of a choice. This is Poland's second participation They were present in last year's competition and actually came best out of the teams who were looking for hosting rights. So we don't have a Eurobowl next year because we've got the World Cup. So Eurobowl runs for sort of 3 out of 4 years. Andy gets the PAL. And then we have a World Cup year, and then we have another 3 Eurobowls. But Poland will be hosting it in 2 years' time. So that's very exciting for us. Poland have really taken off for Blood Bowl in the last couple of years since Games Workshop re-released the game. And it looks like there are some really good tournaments going on in Poland as well. So I'm actually looking to try and get out to one next year. Oh no, here comes Andy with the ones again. Andy with the ones. Come on, Andy. Oh, he's just managed to avoid it. Oh, that witch elf has been causing him nothing but problems with double ones. But fortunately, he's managed against it. So yeah, he's going aggressive again. I think this is a good move. He can't leave the lizard men further forwards too free, because Owen will just sneak his way through and reform a cage upfield. But he's trying to put a lot of pressure on now in order to try and pop this cage. Skinks, for all their valuable abilities of things like stunty and decent agility and high speed, all it takes is a single 1 in 9 dodge and you are in a world of pain with Skinks. Well, yeah, it's a good question. It's like when are we gonna come back around? When are we going to come back around? Because some of these countries have not hosted for a decade. So Eurobowl is a little bit unusual in that it's basically an agreement of all participating countries as to what to do with regard to hostings. Right? He made the dodge reroll. He's dodging into a tackle zone, so he needed a 3. The 2 wasn't good enough. He's rolled a 1. Is he going to use a team reroll on this? He needed a 2. He rolled a 1. What's he going to do? He's having a think. Is this too early? It's turn 2. It's early. Yeah, he's decided it's too early. Drop the guy down. It's not desperate at this stage. Still very tricky for Owen to make much of that opportunity. So yeah, it's a bit unusual that it's a consensus of all the captains. Whoever's picked as a captain for their nation basically is representing the team for the next one. So there's no convention. So to talk about rerolls, the 2 guys are actually using rerolls differently. Andy lines up his rerolls to see how many he's got, and then he takes them away. Whereas Owen is putting them all in his reroll spot and then putting them next to the turn that he uses them in. So it's a little bit confusing. Andy is doing it in one method and Owen is doing it in another method. So you can see now Owen's got 1 in his reroll thing. So he puts it against the turn that's used. I actually slightly prefer that way because you can see if you've used the reroll that turn, so there's no mistaking it. But it doesn't really matter. Oh, he's broken armor. And it's another stun. Yeah, so both measures are perfectly valid. It's pretty much, in my experience, just a 50-50 split. Some people like one way, some people like the other. Certainly everyone in the tournament scene is very used to both systems being used, so it's absolutely fine. My personal preference is how Owen's doing it, but I've got no problems with paying other people to do the other. So that is a 1 followed by 5 on the skink dodging. So he sneaks out. He sneaks out and he's formed a Vengabus. He's got a Vengabus cage with a spare wheel. So he really doesn't want Andy coming in that side. So yeah, maybe Andy overcommitted a little bit that side. But it's not easy to fully capitalise because Dark Elves have plenty of speed. So Andy can just run them all back and he has to do it all over again. Yeah, so this is a game between two players that really know what they're doing. Owen86 has a NAF ranking of 234. To put that in context, basically anything over 200 and you're pretty much entering world class with that particular team. So 234 is a very good NAF ranking, but it's not as good as AndyDavo's 264 with Dark Elves. Indeed, AndyDavo is the fifth best, I say fifth best player, fifth best combination of player and a team with his Dark Elves at 264. Jeff Porritt has Dwarves at 265 and Amazons at 268. Then you have K Foods Dark Elves on 271, and then Jiminy's Wood Elves on 275. And to put it in a little more context, Owen86's 234 is the 75th in the world. With all players, all teams, all races, and with Lizards, Owen86 is, where is he? Is 7th in the world. So Owen is 7th in the world with Lizards, and he is 2nd in the world for Dark Elves. So you know, these guys are pretty good. Pretty good. Yes, Owen is wearing a multi-flag as a cape. There's a lot of cape wearing today. There's a lot of silly hats. The Danish have all come in some. It looks like they got their countries a little bit off. They seem to be more in Scottish hats than Welsh hats. A bit too much tartan for the Welsh. Oh, Andy's won again on the dodge. Is he gonna make it on the reroll? He's got a 6. He's fine. He's fine. Andy has rolled a 1 for almost every opening dodge. He's made a few on the dodge skill reroll, but he's rolled an extraordinary number of 1s. Look, he's just, yeah, throw them on the floor, all those 1s. Doesn't need them. Looks like he's gonna do a little dice test with all of them. Yeah, make sure they're all right. I've got some more tackle zone dice if they need. There we go, I just popped over and gave Andy some more dice. So Owen's having a big think here. Andy's recovered really well. He's got a nice screen in front of him. It's not going to stop Owen from getting through, but it's going to cause him some difficulties. Owen's main problem here is, well, let's say like everything goes to plan, and let's say the Croxagore, he's never going to open with the Croxagore, but let's say the Croxagore blitzes into this guy, knocks him back, and that opens up a nice space here for him to run into. The problem is, he's got some guys who are sort of pinned and are not really going to join the party. So it basically relies on 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this guy's going to find it tricky to sort of get through as well. So Owen might be left with go for it, which is not really the time he wants to be making go for it. So he's having to think about this carefully. Where does he want to be? And the problem is as well, he's using up a player, because with this line here, if he wants to blitz this lineman with, say, one of these Saurus, he can't get through, which means he has to sort of send a skink around that way just to open up. So it looks like he's just bunkering down for a turn now. He's got plenty of time. It's only turn 4. There's no need to go crazy and break your team up. But he needs to be a little bit careful, because a weakness in positioning here, and Andy's going to send that Wrestle Witch Elf in. Yeah, I don't think he's going to blitz with the Crocs. I was talking even in the ideal best case scenario, these are the problems he has, and oh, you got to be crazy. I mean, your whole game is done on a double skull. Even if the Crocs activates, you roll a double skull. You don't make the loner, do you? Obviously, in that situation, obviously, if things go that wrong, they fall apart. And then Andy's got a pretty simple 2 dice on the ball carrier, with Frenzy following up for another 2 dice. Plus, he can re-roll one of them, so he's got 6 dice on the ball carrier with a 50-50 shot. A 1 in 3 shot on. Yeah, 50-50 shot in each combination of 2. So yeah, it looks like Owen's just basically going for a bit of attrition here, just trying to get some of these players away. Doesn't break armor. And now it's all about KG reform time. So he's moved a skink across to cut and assist. Can he reform that corner? Yeah, no casualties so far. We had 2 KOs, but they've both come back. And just a push on this one. He's got to be careful though, there's a weakness in that corner. And now he's fixed it. Yeah, moving that guy forward fixes that weakness. And yeah, this is a good turn from Owen. He's got nothing to gain by just rushing forward and splitting his team up. Andy's thrown a load of guys in. He's going to throw a load of guys back next turn. You can be sure of it. Owen might have got lucky and chipped one off, especially with the Witch Elves in contact. So it's a good turn. It's nice, patient Blood Bowl, taking the pressure and just coping with it. So yeah, Andy goes in to try and chip off a skink. He takes the both down results, but is unable to break armor. he going to get the skink? This is the Wrestle Witch Elf. Just having to think about his last move. Does he want to take that player there? Looks like he does. So the Wrestle Witch Elf has got the push for the first one, frenzy hit for the second. And gets the POW. Cage has been popped. There are elves inside the cage. So Owen's going to need to work in his next turn. He needs to get rid of some of these elves and then reform. Andy's happy with that. He's ended his turn. Well, both of these teams are painted. I'm not sure if it comes across fully on the camera, but they are all painted. I haven't seen too many unpainted. I've not really looked at the teams very much, but we've had some good painted teams so far today. Yeah, it's a little bit too dark. This is a very sort of dark paint job on the on both of the teams. It's one of the reasons why we've gone for a pitch that's quite light, is to try and help show up some of that contrast. But yeah, some of the teams are just too dark. We've got two big overheads, like professional lights. We can't get the lights too low down because it starts affecting the players. It gets a bit too bright for them. And also on the screen itself, I've just artificially turned the brightness up a bit to help. I don't know if maybe lowering the saturation might help a little bit, but yeah, it's about the best we can do. So just pushes here. Owen's looking just to try and get rid of some of these elves from inside the cage. He finds a POW on the next one, and Chain pushes his ball carrier free of contact. So that's the awkward 1 in 9 dodge avoided. The question is now, where does Owen go? Because he doesn't really have a lot of options here. Oh, breaks armor though. And another stun. Yeah, I think last match especially, the guys were playing with the newer models on the 32mm bases, and they're much easier to see. They also had some lighter paint jobs. And also, it's actually getting a little bit dark here in Cardiff. So the lights of the overhead truss that we've got set up here, which all the equipment is on, was basically helped by a bit of sunlight, which is no longer the case. It's pretty much getting dark outside, and so the lights are basically having to do the work by themselves. But if there are any questions you have, if anyone's not sure of anything, I've probably got a slightly better perspective than you guys, so I'm happy to explain anything. So if people come on and they're like, oh, what are these pieces? I'm not sure what's going on. Just do ask in chat, guys. There's quite a few of the guys in chat has been watching for a while as well, and they'll know all the answers, and they'll help you out too. So yeah, don't suffer in silence. Let us know, and we'll do our best to help out. So the Croxagor's behaved and is now part of forming a cage. And does he want to do that? He doesn't want to do that. He might have to do that. He might not have any choice.
Eurobowl, you have less than 30 minutes remaining.
Oh. So the Saurus there blocks on the lineman. Yes, the Dark Elves are the blue one. So this is a Dark Elf, and this is a Saurus. So that is a Dark Elf, and that is a Lizardman. Excellent. So Owen's made the dodges. Now he's thinking, does he necessarily want to form a cage, or does he actually just want to screen up between? Because Andy can base the ball carrier if he wants to. Owen's not going to be able to stop that. But it's just whether he leaves a... See, this is a bit of a weak position here. If they're level, that's fine. But here, Andy can basically take a 3+, 2+, to then go for a 2 dice on the ball carrier. So that's a weakness there. If the skink was here instead, that's a more difficult proposition. He can dodge through here, but he's probably not got the range like this guy has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just needs one go for it if he does that. So this might be a first mistake from Owen. Yeah, that's a really good point, Jafazi. For us regular tabletop players, we've seen these models loads of times before. We can instinctively see just through familiarity what they are. But if you're used to playing Blood Bowl 2, if you mainly play your Blood Bowl online, then nothing can be taken for granted. You're not quite sure necessarily who is who, because although the Blood Bowl 2 teams do have a strong resemblance to a lot of these models, it's not perfect. So I think there's a weakness, especially because if it's always easy to say when you're not playing. Andy goes 1, 2. No, that's wrong. Hang on, I've done that wrong. That's the wrong way through. And he goes 1, 2, 3 for a 3 up, 4 for a 2 up, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for the hit. And if he knocks the ball carrier down and he goes that way, there's a good chance the ball's going to end up here. Or if it's on the Saurus, remember it's pouring rain. Or on the skink, remember it's pouring rain. There's a good chance it could end up in this area. And then Andy just has got plenty of players left to pick the ball up and run away with it. So it looks like Andy's marking some dice here in order just to form like a safety screen, and then I reckon he's going to go for it. I reckon this is the turn he thinks it's on. But then he immediately moves the player who I suggested he should blitz with. So what do I know? Gets the power on the skink. Is this going to be a player removal? He breaks armor. It's stunty, remember, so it's +1 to this roll. Oh, it's not enough though. It's still a stun. It's amazing. After the carnage of the first 2 games, this one's been very light. This one's been very light on not many armor breaks, and other than 2 KOs, just stuns. That might be some of Andy's thinking as well. Without many players being removed, maybe he thinks, well, I've got all 11 elves, there's no need to take a risk. I can just bring these guys back and form some columns up, and the lizards. Are the lizards really going anywhere? Owen doesn't have any break tackle. These Saurus up here are really isolated. He's basically just got the one Saurus down with his team. Croxigal cannot be relied upon, and there's just 3 skinks. So, you know, I think going this way, down into this corner, is not an option for Owen at this stage. I think he just isolates his team too much. And in fact, if he boneheads with the Croxagore, it's not even possible to form a cage. So I think Owen's got to re-centralise and try and connect with these three Saurus here. And so Andy's just going for another blitz on a skink. He's just trying to get some players up here. If you can get rid of the skinks, that is good. He gets the pals. He gets the pals he needs. And he breaks armor. Are we going to see a removal? Another stun! Oh my lord, Andy must be cursing his luck at the moment. Owen, basically, because of the way that Andy's defended, Owen has had to leave some of his skinks exposed, and Andy's like, right, well, I'm gonna use that opportunity. If I can chip a couple skinks off, this is a very different game. So he has got 2 stuns, so that definitely helps. It's hard to form a cage now because the ball carrier only has 3 players near him. So Owen's gonna have to think carefully. Andy unstuns his player and ends his turn, and it's back to Owen. Owen turns 6. Owen's got 3 turns to try and get a draw. Definitely time for some thinking here. So there's just 20 minutes left of this round. I poked my head out of the curtains. And yeah, about a quarter of the games have finished. So yeah, we're rapidly drawing to a close on day 1. Not getting any information through at the moment as to how anyone is doing. But yeah, France-England is near me. So let's... Andy has absolutely be following the rules. 100%. 100%.
Eurobowlers, you have just under 20 minutes remaining. Just under 20 minutes remaining.
Yeah, so it's a good venue here. We're at the cricket stadium, so it's looking good. So I just had a quick check on England versus France. 4 games have finished so far. England have won 2, lost 1, and drawn 1. Joe Mangi was just telling me he has drawn his game against Clemento. Oh my lord. Joe Mangi, last turn equaliser, 5 up dodge, 6 up dodge, 5 up dodge, 6 up dodge, to knock a player down, knock the ball off the pitch, to be basically thrown back halfway up the pitch, and then a pass to equalise. Do you guys hear Beer Beer in the background there? Because I heard him. Yeah, it can't. You're right. It can't be anyone else. He is about. He's about 30 meters away from me. There's a thick, heavy curtain between me and the players, and we can hear him from all that distance. Oh man. So yeah, England are narrowly ahead against France. Lycos beat Simon ACP. Pete W has beaten Slad Mortis. Yeah, that is Beer Beer. That is Beer Beer. Thanks for watching, Bushane. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Yeah, that is Beer Beer. Oh my god, what a guy. He's back. I've just had a look out in the hall. I can't see Bear Bear. I can hear him, but I can't see him. So yeah, Owen's played really well here. That was a tricky situation to get out of, but he's decided to he upped the risk a little bit, which I think is what you need to do in these dangerous situations. It's better to push the risk a little bit in turn 6 to make sure you don't have an impossible job in turn 8. What I expect we're going to see here, because Owen is so close to scoring a touchdown, is that Andy's going to go in at some point. So I mean, it's on. It is on. He's got to get around, and he's got to make that hit. He's got to make it, because otherwise it's 1-1, isn't it? Finland, Italy. Let me, while these guys have a bit of a thing. Oh, is Andy doing something? Andy gets a POW. I think he's just trying to clear some guys away, just to free them up. He doesn't want to make all those 3+ dodges with prehensile tail. So he thought, oh, he's broken arm on the Croxigor. Oh, what's he going to do? Just a stun. I'm going to have a quick check on the Finland-Italy game, see how they're getting on. And I'll be right back, because I don't want to miss Andy going in. So it's just... Okay, so just had a quick chat with one of the Italian guys. He thinks they're slightly ahead, maybe just a point, So it's going to be close in that game, but it looks like Italy are just enough ahead in that one. England looking strong against France as well at the moment, but still 4 of the games left to complete. So plenty to happen. Oh, Andy's rolled another one. Oh, is he going to snake? He's got the 2. That's all he needed. Thankfully. And where's this witch elf going to go? Whew, that's close, isn't it? You think, playing Elves, I need a 2, I only need a 2. Andy's rolled an amazing amount of 1s on his first dodge, and yeah, so it's a good job he's got so many dodge players. It's amazing. I'll see if I can. I still can't see him. I can hear him. I still can't see him. So I've just got a word coming through. England have beaten France. It's either going to be 4.5, 3.5, or 5-3, depending upon the last match. But England have won all 3 of their games today, and with a impressive result against France as well. It looks like Italy basically have got over the line against Finland. I'm still waiting on a bit more information against some of the other matches. So Owen has decided to score on turn 7. So he's now setting up to defend a 2-turner against AndyDavo. The good news is that he has all 11 of his players. The bad news is so does Andy. So he set up on a wide formation to stop it being too easy for Andy to be able to get around. He's got the strength 4 players furthest wide to make sure that it can't be like an easy 2-dice blitz against the Skinks to pile some players through. So this is tough for Andy. He either needs to remove some Saurus in the middle and then just run through the middle like mad, or he needs to make some dodges. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We had a lot of conversation about what the right resolution to stream this was on, and the consensus is that basically if it's less than 1080p, it's almost not worth it because you really can't see the players at that resolution. So yeah, we put it at 1080p. We know it's going to be a little bit difficult for some of the guys with your bandwidth. Fortunately, we're not dropping any packets now. This morning was an absolute nightmare. We tested all the internet connection yesterday. It was working really well. We get in and we didn't go more than 3 minutes without the connection our side just completely dropping. So fortunately, BB&K Food agreed to delay the start of their game by 10-15 minutes, whilst we basically relocated the desk and all the computer equipment about 25 meters across the hall to get a stronger internet connection. So yeah, that was exciting. That's exactly what I wanted first thing this morning. But fortunately, it's all worked out and it's looking stable now. We've not dropped any frames in this session, so that is looking good. So the kickoff roll is a 9. It's a quick snap. So Andy's taking advantage of that to get some of his players a little further forward and into better positions.
Eurobowl, you have 6 minutes. Games rolling on, you have 6 minutes.
So we've just had a 6-minute warning for the Eurobowl games. So yeah, Andy and Owen, they should be okay. 6 minutes. They've got 2 turns versus 1 turn, but they're gonna have to get a little bit of a wriggle on. They don't have a lot of time. So catching the high ball on a 4, gets a 1. Ball scatters. 6, and so falls diagonally. So it looks like Andy is setting up to try and go through the middle. So if he can get these guys sort of this way and get that guy down, that gives him some options to stream some people through, and then he basically wants to just spread some people out. And then what you'll probably see him doing is just like moving that guy to there to tag up that Saurus, moving that guy to there to tag up that Saurus, and moving this person in to tag up the Croxagore, and that pretty much just leaves skinks. And he might even go just 1, 2, 3, put all 3 together. So he's got some options. But this is tough. This is tough for Owen. Lizards are not very good at defending 2 turners. It's push skull from Andy. And he makes the dodge, and yeah, now he's got a 2+ dodge gap through from that guy, but the other guy's gonna have to do a 3 and a 2. So here we go, 3 up, gets it, 2 up. See you tomorrow, Chris. So here we go, handoff to the Witch Elf. It's a 5, it's good. Now, it's all about the dice rolls here. 3 up. It's a 2. Oh, it was knocked down. It was knocked down, my mistake. It was just a 2 up. My mistake. I thought it was 3 and a 2. I completely missed it. It knocked it down. So yeah, 2 is great. Oh, this is the disaster for Owen. And they're all coming through now. They're all coming through. Andy won't mind 1. It's a little bit weak there, actually. Andy putting it there. He could easily have basically just come 1 further down and caged up like that. I mean, it's not much of a weakness because it is a skink, but it's weaker than it should be. And as you see, well, this guy's free, but is not in too much of a danger at the moment. If Owen can get an assist here, basically he's relying on a 1 die block with the skink to push this guy here for this guy to then come in. This guy's out of it, the Croxigor's out of it, he's out of it. This is tough. It's not easy to defend two turners with lizards. No, the team rosters are not up anywhere that I know of. I think they will be going up after Eurobowl, but the organisers, I think, didn't want to release them prior. Gets the one die pow. Gets the one die pow on the corner cage. And breaks armour. I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference. Gets a knockout. And now for the blitz. It's 2 dice on the Witch Elf. He needs a pow though. He needs a pow. 2 dice. He has no rerolls. Needs a pow. Double skull! Oh! And it's just a 2-up dodge. It's just a 2-up dodge, but he's actually... And he's going for the block. And he's going for the block. Gets the pow and scores. What an end to this game. He needed 1 pow. He got 2 skulls. Oh, Blood Bowl, you cruel, cruel mistress. Wow. Oh, my lord. Owen did everything right there. Got the power on the 1 die to open up the cage. And then double skulls. Heartbreak. Heartbreak for Malta. Heartbreak for Owen. Stream of luck. Yes, stream of luck. What a chancer. What an absolute chancer. Oh my lord, oh wow. Right, well I don't know if I want to talk to us after that, but I'm going to head over to the players now and see if they want to come over. Here we are guys with AndyDavo and Owen. Owen, what a way to end the game. What a way to end the game, double skulls.
It was hard, I need a pause, so it was hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that was good.
Yeah.
He played really, really good.
Likewise.
Yeah. We were saying like the quality of the game between you two and the back and forth, and a lot of the situations just came down to just the dice in a lot of circumstances, and the number of times you put Owen under huge amounts of pressure, and then you found a way out. Like you stepped up the risk where you needed
never
to.
Broke an armor.
But yeah, I mean, it was weird. We were like saying, like with the 2 turn attempts, the good news is you have all 11 players to defend. The bad news is you have all 11 elves to attack with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lose one Saurus the first 2 turns.
Yeah.
And stupid move, my stupid move. And
Yeah. Because we were wondering what you would do, because we were saying, with the tackle guy, you're going to want to blitz with the tackle against those dodges. And then, of course, because the guy was against the edge, you thought, right, I'll blitz with him to free him up. And then, bye-bye.
No, the tackle guys I use only to make pressure on the ball, but I don't use to blitz because it's with shooting roll, it makes turnover every time. So
Yes, yeah.
I use only for pressure, but he take out of the game all the time. And Crocs in the first half.
The Crocs was a disaster. He finally did something, and it just didn't matter. It was like it was gone by then. What was it? 3 turns in a row?
5.
5, yeah.
Or
And the
1 in 6, I think it was. He did.
Yeah.
1 in 6.
and the chance to block the ball.
Yes, yeah.
With Crocs.
So every time another one. Even the guys were saying when you double ones with the Witch Elf and left the guy next to the Croxigor, literally everyone in chat was just saying, well, it won't matter, we're all just boneheads. Oh, great, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, he was not very
What
reliable.
did the chat think about the basing the Croxigor with a blodge player instead of using alignment? Because a lot of people will base the Croxigor with alignment, and I chose a lot of the time to use positional.
Yeah, so we talked about that a lot. I think the one that we liked the most was when you did the handover and you used the player with the ball to do both the handover and base the Crocs with the idea that the other guy was going to go away. So it was really efficient to use one player to do 2 things. Like you moved the ball out of danger, you did the handover and the Crocs was based all in one move. It's like really efficient. So we were talking about that a bit, and basically, the Crocs cannot be relied upon to take the blodger down because you're finding that power. It's just as likely to sort of 1 in 9, not quite as much, but it's, it's going to happen. But Well, I mean, most of the time it was irrelevant because he was boneheading. So yeah.
One thing we do want to call out is that we both forgot about the weather.
Yeah.
I don't actually know what the sequence of dice was for the pass and the catch and whatever.
You were fine for the pass and the catch because,
that's good.
Fortunately, I missed it as well completely. But some of the guys in chat kept reminding me that it was pouring rain. So for the end sequence, we weren't too sure about some of the earlier ones, but for the end sequence, we were saying like it's.
I made it
2 up, 3 up. You made it all anyway.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, so it
Good.
wouldn't have affected the game there. Maybe something earlier, but probably not. It's like too far to go back on.
We went and got a ref decision and said,
Yeah.
this is what's happened. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
And then because it's not us making the decision, we thought that was the fairest way to do it.
I think that's right, to go to a ref and ask. Metal Malta was really helpful there because he came over and explained to us what was going on and that you went to see a ref. So that was really good. So Andy, it was almost like you didn't have the dodge skill given the number of ones that you rolled on the first one.
Yeah.
It's like every dodge was like one then something else.
Yeah. That was. It felt like there was a lot of ones on there. Strategy-wise, for me in the first half, because he'd not got the apothecary, I thought instead of going after skinks, which is the normal thing that people do, if you take out one Saurus or get 2 Sauruses down, it can make it a lot easier. And so I spent a lot of time chasing down your Saurus and trying to hit them and we just didn't die. There was a lot of pushes for both of us. I don't think you knocked him over until about 10-4.
10-6.
Yeah. It was really, the block dice weren't very good for either of us. But it did mean that when I could go for the surf, we got this a sequence of 4 pushes. Because the block dice were mostly pushes. So that was
absolutely
good. It was good.
Yeah, it was. Even when towards the end of the second half, you guys finally started to break armor, and every time we were like, "Is this going to be the one? Nope, another stun. Is this going to be? No, another stun." And even against the skinks, where I'm like, +1 on the injury, he's rolled a 6. It's still a stun.
It's still a stun.
Like, nothing could take these guys off the pitch.
I'm worried about tomorrow because it normally catches up with you at some point.
That's right.
I'm expecting the team to just explode.
Well, it's been a bit average here because in the first 2 games we had some really bashy elves. K-Foods Wood Elves and Simon's Pro Elves, very, very bashy. So to have an elf team that didn't do any damage has actually redressed the luck on the stream as well.
Oh, well, lucky me.
Yeah, lucky you, Streamer luck a lot, I must say.
Makes more fun with the one for the dodge.
The ones for the dodge, every time. I don't know how your heart was coping, ours was going crazy. That's right.
It's the same with the skinks, you'd roll like a 2 or a 1 and then you'd be fine. You did that quite a few times, it just didn't quite come up as a pair. But it was good, it was a good game, really well played. Thank you very much, I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. Okay guys, I'm going to go and try and find out how some of the other teams have been doing and let you know. We know that England has beaten France and Italy have also won their game against Finland. I'll try and find some more results and we'll be back soon.